Here's a statement about stress that you might find hard to believe. Stress is not what happens to you. In other words, people don't experience stress because of what happens to them. Now, before you come at me in the comments, hear me out. Let me give you an example. Imagine this. You and your direct colleagues have an end of quarter meeting. And this meeting is with the shareholders of the company you work for. The last quarter has been challenging and company revenue has been decreasing. You and some of your colleagues have been stressing out because you have to deliver this news to the shareholders. And you anticipate that they are not going to be happy about it. But one of your colleagues is seeming far too relaxed about this situation. In fact, they don't appear to be stressed at all. They even say to the rest of the team to stop stressing because in their words, it is what it is. Why is it that multiple people can experience the same situation, but some are stressed and others aren't? Well, as I mentioned, stress is not what happens to you. Stress is how you think and how you feel about what happens to you. I deliver keynote speeches and workshops where I stand up and talk in front of people. And for some of you, that might be an extremely stressful situation. But for me, it's not stressful at all. I'm used to it. It's part of my day job. However, if you asked me to pick up a pet cat, that might be a little stressful for me because I'm a little scared of cats. But I imagine for most of you, that wouldn't be stressful at all. We all react differently to different situations, whether these situations are in the workplace or at home. So how can companies help employees to reduce their workplace stress? We'll come on to specific ways in a minute, but before that, I need to explain what stress is. I like to define stress as a situation in life where challenges and pressures exceed our perceived ability to cope. See, it's all about our perception. When we perceive that we're unable to cope, this causes us stress, which can have a negative impact on our health and well-being. And there are two main types of stress. Our acute stress. This is known as our short-term stress and usually comes on quickly. It's the body's immediate reaction to a new challenge or demand. And our body's natural response can be described as the fight or flight response or the fight, flight or freeze response. Fight means we tackle the challenge. Flight means we run away from the challenge. And freeze means we do nothing. Imagine a lion trying to eat you. The fight would be to take on that lion and defeat it because you are a superhero. The flight would be to run away from the lion because you value your life and you're not stupid. And the freeze would be to stand still and do nothing and hope that the lion doesn't fancy eating a human today. Now, the other type of stress is chronic stress. And this type of stress is often experienced over a prolonged period of time. And we often perceive to have little or no control over this type of stress. So how can companies help employees to reduce their stress? But first, they have to understand the impact of workplace stress on its employees. Because last year in the UK, 49% of working days lost were due to stress, depression, and anxiety. And this accounted for 17.1 million working days lost in the UK. And on average, each person that takes time off work due to workplace stress takes off approximately 19 working days. Think about your workplace. If you or your colleagues had to take 19 unplanned working days off work, what impact would it have on your team, on your direct colleagues, on your clients, on the people you work with? Let's be real, it probably wouldn't be great. But by understanding the risk, companies can start to implement strategies that can help them to reduce workplace stress. So how can they do this? Well, to start off, they can start by education, providing employees with the education and knowledge to reduce their stress. They can also provide resources to help employees reduce their stress and support their well-being. And if your workplace want free resources to help support the health and well-being of their employees, ultimately reducing their stress, join the free mailing list. The link's in the description box. At Loving Life, we send out useful resources that can help companies support the health and well-being of their employees. Companies can also do other things to reduce stress. And there's one method in particular that can have the biggest impact on reducing employee stress. Imagine this. Carol is responsible for the day-to-day admin tasks within the workplace. And for the last 6 months, she's been getting busier, and busier. Carol is now finding it hard to stay on top of her tasks. And she's been asking for months now for help with her workload. But it's been continuously ignored. Carol becomes increasingly stressed until one day her stress levels are so high that she gets sick, which results in her not coming to work. What could Carol's company have done to prevent this? Now that Carol is off sick, the admin tasks are piling up and it's having a negative impact on the business. One of the biggest causes of workplace stress is because employees are overloaded with too much work. They have more work than they can handle and they're not getting the support they need to complete it. So how can companies prevent this? Well, the theory is simple. Don't overload employees with work. Give team members the support they need to fulfill their job role and help employees look after their health and well-being. Now, there's one company whose employees don't appear to get stressed at all. And in fact, this company do whatever they can to ensure their employees are happy. To find out how that company is creating the happiest workforce, you need to watch this video right here.